Hey guys, welcome back to the True Walk Podcast. My name is Zach.
My name's Hayden.
We have a great one for you today.
Absolute banger.
No funny question today, no funny business.
No,
we don't play no games. Actually,
business.
Hayden and I dropped out of school because they wanted to make us play at recess. So we don't play no games here, bro. I'm just kidding.
Zach
Recess is
did
my
just
favorite.
drop out of school because he graduated.
I did graduate December 12th.
Yep. I still have 2 more years, sadly. So.
Hey, bro. Well, I'm contemplating on putting myself through another year of school. So
Yeah, it's probably not
we'll see.
That's a whole different conversation for another day.
Yeah. Anyways, so we just want to go through a quick little series. We got a few more days till Christmas. Praise God, right?
Yeah.
And something we all look forward to Christmas is the gifts, right? Love me some presents.
I know, bro. It's National Aura Day for me.
So there was this one time I'm sitting there in my room, and Hayden gets these pants, and he's like, yells from across the room, "Bro!" I'm like, "What, bro?" He runs in my room, well, not runs, but walks in my room pretty quick. He shows me these pants. He's like, "Bro, how come I ain't got a girlfriend yet?" I'm like, "Bro, if you don't."
The question of the hour still.
So funny enough, he wears the pants all the time. Actually, you've probably seen them. They're the black ones.
Yeah, the black, yeah.
And, well.
I decided I needed more aura, so I spaced out my, because I have, split family. And so I spaced out the things that I asked for this Christmas. I think I asked my mom for, shoes and some shirts. My granny for shoes and some hoodies and a few shirts. My dad for shoes. And then my Nana and Papa on my dad's side, a lot of pants, and my mom a few pants. So collectively, I'm about to form a ton of aura in my outfits.
You know what I think's so cool, bro? When I was younger and I got a pair of pants in a little gift box, bro, I was so hot. When I was like, "Hey, bro."
It's weird how your perspective changes on that. Of
like a brother needs some socks now, you know?
It makes you feel old, but when you get older, you just want you want something you'll actually use. I'm not gonna use little toys or things like that anymore. So I just want clothes because clothes are expensive.
Yeah, I don't pay for clothes personally, so
I don't either. Unless it's something I really like and I don't want to wait on, but that's rare.
And then you have an infinite money glitch. I'm just kidding. We'll say that to the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, if you'd like to tie to our channel, I'm just kidding.
Speaking of infinite money glitches, a credit card, and you give to our channel. Max it out, leverage it by opening another one, move that to that account, and then max that one out.
Yeah, because you're expecting your credit limit to increase.
Yes, hopefully, obviously. Yeah. So.
Hey, well, enough of that funniness. Let's talk about, for the next few videos, we're going to be going through the gift of Christ. And basically what that is we're going to be pointing at looking to Jesus, when Jesus was born, his life, and after his life. That's what we're kind of going to go for here.
Mm-hmm.
So first things first, let's talk about the brokenness of the world. If you look through Scripture, there's 66 books, and I've already talked about this before. But there are so many books in the Bible, so many verses, so many this and that. It's like pages, prophecies, all this and that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that in the first book, the 3rd chapter, and the 3rd verse is the fall of man?
Yeah, because you said it. Yeah.
That's what's so crazy, and it's like, even AI knows it's the fall of man. It's like Genesis 3:3 is a key verse in the Bible story of the fall, where Eve, tempted by the serpent. Anyways, but yeah, so that's pretty interesting because ultimately, right then, that causes a need.
Yeah.
Right. So, Adam and Eve sinned. Now everyone's subject to God's judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we ultimately cannot help ourselves because we now know the difference between right and wrong.
Yeah.
Right. Adam and Eve. The biggest thing is they had no vision or knowledge of what's right and wrong.
Yeah. So they just did what was right because they were in God's presence all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, what's funny about that is ultimately once that happened, that put us all in this trap of we need something greater than us.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you can see throughout the whole the whole Bible, God's people cannot help but rebel.
Yeah.
Adam and Eve rebelled. Throughout the Scripture, there's specific situations where people rebelled. There's even specific situations where we're getting the 10 Commandments. Homeboy comes down the mountain, and they're worshiping a gold calf.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're trapped in Egypt to slavery, and all of a sudden, we're getting freed, and then we're going to complain about this.
Yeah.
And so what's crazy is like even too, like God has promised these people land,
Mm-hmm.
and they still don't have the faith to believe that He's going to give them this land.
Yeah.
And then God continuously shows His faithfulness and provides when people need it,
Mm-hmm.
and we still don't get it,
Yeah.
right? And so, kind of throughout the Old Testament Scripture, you see that sin is just ruling the world.
Mm-hmm.
Sin is ruling the people, their thoughts, how they're acting, and their behaviors.
Yeah.
And ultimately, now you still see it.
Sadly, yeah, it's all over the place.
But there's a massive difference, and we'll get to that throughout this series, and that's kind of the question and the answer we want to provide you guys with. All right? But let's talk about today specifically. For this specifically, let's talk about pointing to Jesus. So there was a need. Obviously, we just went through the need. We can't do it on our own. And throughout the Old Testament, there's a couple that we're going to talk about specifically today. And either I or you can get the backstory of the book of Isaiah. That's what we're going to be out of right now.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a need for God's intervention.
Mm-hmm.
There's a need for something to be sent down to help us live. So I'll let you talk about Isaiah for a second and just anything else you want to add to that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're going to go through two prophecies today that kind of give God's, like, solution to the reality of, like, our fallenness, our brokenness. Like, up until this point in Isaiah, even though there's other prophecies, like, the current state would be what you just kind of said. Like, if you put yourself back in this time frame, which was about 700 years-ish before Jesus was born in Isaiah, I mean, at this point, all these things are true. Sin is ruling. Things feel hopeless. Every time that God's people start to get, right with Him, metaphorically, they fall right back into their sin. Like, they obey Him for a little bit, and then they disobey again. And so it's just this, like, deep state of brokenness. And it's like there's no way, if you were living in this time frame, you'd be like, there's no way this is really God's, like, ultimate, like, this is it, right? Like, is this all that it is? Like, we really are just going to, like, He's going to bless us. We're going to forget that He blessed us. Then we're going to sin against Him, and He's going to have to show mercy on us. Is that just the, rinse, wash, and repeat cycle that we're going to go through? Like, is there something more to this that can actually change the situation? And there is. And so God places, like, these little cool, I called it, like, Easter eggs. I think that's, people talk about that in, like, movies, like, little Easter eggs, like, hints about things. And he places little Easter eggs in Isaiah, in a lot of places in the Bible, but Isaiah is a big one when it comes to prophecies, about His solution to this problem of our, like, separation from Him and His judgment that He has to have on us because He's a righteous and just God. So we pick up in this one verse, Isaiah 7:14. We're, yet again, out of CSB right now. It says, "Therefore the Lord Himself will give you a sign. See, the virgin will conceive, have a son, and name him Emmanuel," which, if you didn't know, Emmanuel means God with us. So that's his first kind of solution, I guess, to this problem when it comes to the prophecies we're looking at, is that God is going to be with us. This, which we know the answer to this because we kind of have, like, the end of the movie picture, like we've already seen everything, but there's going to be a sign from the Lord, and it's going to be that a virgin's going to conceive, which means give birth, obviously, have a son, and they're going to call him Emmanuel, which would mean God with us. And so it seems like God's first step in this solution process to heal us and make us right with Him is that He would be with us. And now back in the day, they're probably not thinking that there's going to be a little baby that's going to get named Jesus that's going to literally be with us and be God. But in the time of this prophecy, they're thinking the Messiah is going to be someone that is going to be with us. God is going to be with us.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, and this is important because back in the day, God's presence was only in places like a tabernacle or a temple that only one guy or one priest. I don't know why that slipped my mind, dude. That's crazy. one priest would go in once a year, and he'd be able to enter the presence of God. And it's like, for everybody else, kind of, what did that mean, you know? And it shows that God has this desire to be with us.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, for me, if you're doing wrong to me, bro, and it's like, I forgive you and forgive you and forgive you, and I don't just forgive you, like, I bless you.
Yeah.
At some point, I'm going to be done with you. And it's like, no, God says, I forgive you, I bless you, and matter of fact, I want to be with you. So I think that's so neat, bro. And it's so powerful because for them, how much harder would it be, or how hard is it for them to access God in that time?
Yeah.
They have to go to a priest, they have to go to a tabernacle, like they have to go to this place, and it's like, obviously hindsight now, we have the ability to speak to God whenever. So.
Yeah, they didn't even have direct access to his presence back in this time, unless you were a priest, and it was like the highest priest, not like every casual priest just got to go into the place that was called like the most holy place or the Holy of Holies or whatever. It was only one priest that got to do it, and it's once a year. And so like this idea, which I don't think most of the people at the time of when Isaiah wrote this understood what they literally meant by like God with us would be literally God being with us in flesh, but it is still a beautiful like prophecy, probably even to them at that time, because they're like, well, okay, like God with all of us for real, like not just like with us, but like only accessible by a priest, but like God with us. And so I think that's just like really unique and interesting. I think ultimately too, like it's important because this is kind of saying, we know this is a prophecy about Jesus. That's what this is. Like that is widely agreed upon. And so it's saying that Jesus' birth would mean God is with us.
And then also too, I just thought about it, but God, you know, obviously chose people to speak to.
Yeah.
Like, you know, back to the example of, you know, Moses walking down from the mountain and they're just, you know, worshiping a golden calf. It's like, what if God was talking to those people? I wouldn't think that they would be worshiping a golden calf.
Yeah, probably not.
At least I would hope not. But then it's like, well, what about the people, you know, when they had manna fall from the ground and had food when they didn't have it?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way I would not worship God. It's like, well, you see what they had it, they seen it, they did it, and they also went back on it. So,
yeah, I think it's cool. It affirms, you know, if you need any type of like, I guess, affirmation in who Jesus really is. This was written about like 700 years before he was born, and it says a virgin will conceive, and she will have a son, and his name will be Emmanuel. And so it's like, I mean, it's literally saying that a virgin will give birth to someone that it will mean when they are born, God is with us. Make a lot of sense if Jesus claimed to be God.
yeah.
That would line up pretty well, because that would mean God is literally with us. And so, and I think it's cool too. It shows that this has to be something from God, in the sense that there's no way Isaiah would have known that just out of the blue some random guy would come up and be born from a virgin and would be God with us. It's got to show that God's speaking something into this, and it's a little bit more than just some guy reading fortunes or something crazy.
Which I think is pretty neat because it's like 700 years, bro. That's
way before.
I don't know. Let's just shoot like people live to 50, or a generation is every 50 years. I don't know how that works. I guess a generation would probably be every 25 years, probably.
I guess, yeah, around that time.
Well, I'm gonna do easy numbers. 50 years.
Okay.
So that'd be 14.
Yeah.
That's saying that
14 generations before.
So I guess if we wanted to do that, that'd be 28 generations.
Yeah. There was something crazy that I had seen about like the likelihood of, which this is like, not just this prophecy, but like there's a ton of prophecies. We'll get into like a few more as we do the videos or whatever. We're not gonna dive into like all of them. There's a lot of them, but like Jesus fulfilled a ton of them, and it was like even the likelihood that he would just fulfill like 5 was like astronomically crazy. Yeah. But he did like so many more than that. So it's just crazy, like reversing that. The likelihood that Isaiah would be able to prophesy about this and then ultimately that happening is pretty insane. And that has to show that God's hand is over this in, you know, a direct way.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, again, it's so neat because 700 years is so wild to think about. So, yeah. But I think also too in the Old Testament, it obviously, just how you were saying, there's so many prophecies. It's almost like the world yearned for a savior. Like
Yeah.
the world yearned for something to be there from God to save it.
When the problem was God was throwing these Easter eggs all over the place, and people just didn't want to like hear it or pay attention to it or listen to it. Like he's laying out all these hints, and obviously we'll get into these other verses in Isaiah in a second. But like, there's ones in Jeremiah, there's ones in Daniel about like vision stuff that kind of like ties to Revelation. But like, there's so many prophecies all over the place. Not just things that show that they're broken and need some help, but showing what the help's going to be.
Yeah.
And they still just like miss it completely and like almost expect the Messiah to be like some war hero that's going to save them from like captivity from whoever's ruling over them at that point. Like it's crazy how you can have things, especially like what we're about to read, and then you can watch Jesus live his life and these things play out exactly, and then just be like, nah, bro, ain't no shot. Like that's wild.
Well, speaking of that, let me just go ahead and read it. So now, we were just in Isaiah 7:14. So let's, turn the page like one page and go to Isaiah 53.
Mm-hmm.
Just one page.
Just a solid page. Just a massive one, though.
So we're going to read 3 through 7, obviously CSB. He was despised and rejected by men, a man of suffering who knew what sickness was. He was like someone people turned away from. He was despised, and we didn't value him. Yet he himself bore our sickness, and he carried our pains. He himself bore our sickness, and he carried our pains. But we, in turn, regarded him stricken, struck down by God, and afflicted. But he was pierced because of our rebellion, crushed because of our iniquities. The punishment for our peace was on him, and we are healed by his wounds. We all went astray like sheep. We all have turned to our own way, and the Lord has punished him for the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. Like a lamb led to the slaughter, like a sheep silent before her shears, he did not open his mouth. So I think, obviously, it's, the first one is pointing to this this son, right? The first Isaiah 7:14 is pointing to Jesus or Emmanuel or God with us.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one is showing what he is doing for us.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, all this stuff brought on Jesus, which we would obviously know now.
Mm-hmm.
All of this 3 through 7 was brought by us.
Yeah.
Jesus, sinless, blameless, perfect life, all the things. And this shows that he's with us,
mm-hmm.
and he's going to take our pains and our problems.
Yeah.
Because for them right now, like, he's not there. Like, this is not a thing for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is kind of, if I'm a person that Isaiah is maybe speaking to, and he's saying this to us, like, well, what are you even talking about, dog?
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me there's going to be a guy that is pierced because of my rebellion, crushed because of my iniquities?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's getting punished for my peace? Like, what does that even mean? And so I think what's so neat is, like, this shows that God's love for us is so great and so deep, because not only does he need to be with us, like, he has taken the pain and the things that we should be enduring from us.
And I think it shows, too, that it's not just some guy that would do this. Like, if you connect these two, it's going to be some guy that would deserve a name that would mean God is with us. And I don't think there would be any human version of any person that by his wounds we could be healed, or that would be someone willing or fit to take on our rebellion, our iniquity, take on the punishment we deserve. So even if you don't read into this, like if you have listened to anything we've talked about with Jesus, or anything specifically with his death, his crucifixion, all of those things, you would know that Isaiah 53, 3 through 7 lines up crazily with actually what he went through 700 years after it was prophesied. So before bro was even born, before like before Jesus is like great, 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 probably 15 more greats, like grandfather or whatever, was
thought
even
of.
alive or thought of, this was said. And so even if we're not reading into it like we know the back half of the story, because
Yeah.
we do, you still see that there is going to be someone, and even if you don't look into the first verse, there's going to be someone that's going to take on our punishment. He's going to be pierced for our rebellion, crushed for our iniquities. There's this punishment that was deserved on us, but now it's going to be on him. And by his wounds, whatever that means, right? We know what it means, but whatever it would have meant at this point when we didn't know, it's going to somehow his pain and wounds are going to lead to our healing. And because we stray away like sheep in verse 6,
Yeah.
the Lord punished him for it. And so it's like, I don't know, it just seems like really, really crazy how you would hear this in that time and be like, okay, like, I don't even know what I would have thought about in that time hearing this. Like, is God really going to put on flesh or something? Like,
But I think what's neat, bro, is like I think that's going to be if you look throughout the Old Testament and just I don't know, say Noah and his ark.
mm-hmm.
Like, what do you mean God's going to flood the earth?
Yeah.
Like, what does that even mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know. I think it just shows the unfaithfulness maybe of people, like the untrusting God.
Unbelief, yeah.
And I say that because if you look at Isaiah 53:3, in the later half it says he was despised, and we didn't value him, as in people, as in we.
Mm-hmm.
So 700 years before the we are here, Isaiah is saying this for the people that's 700 years after the we. So now he's talking about the people that are actively living with Jesus.
Yeah.
We didn't value him. We despised him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's so neat and so crazy because it's like, well, if you look at the Old Testament, you see, oh, well, Moses just got the Ten Commandments, so we're good. And it's like, oh, we're worshiping the golden calf.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we have this and we have manna now, and but a few days later we're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Or wow, we just got free from Egypt, but now we're doing this.
Yeah.
And so I think that's like a common theme throughout the Testament, Old Testament, and even like in today's life.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's this sad disconnect. But I think what's even more crazy is that God shows this amount of love because he knew he was going to be despised.
Yeah.
Like God knew that Jesus would come and be despised and wouldn't be valued. And you can see that clearly because Isaiah, 700 years before Jesus came, wrote this.
Yeah. Well, and Jesus he chose to live the life that he was going to live, which we'll talk about in a little bit, like in a different video. But he chose to live the life that he was going to live, ultimately knowing that, this is what it would lead to. So, like, I think that's so crazy. But it's beautiful in the sense that, like, even if you don't read into it and you don't look into it with, like, the 2020 vision of we know the New Testament now, God's little two solutions to the problem of sin is that someone is going to be born of a virgin and will be worthy of having the name Emmanuel, which means God is with us. So he is sending someone who would be worthy of that calling. Obviously, ultimately, it ended up being literally God with us. But his first step was, I got to send someone that can do something about this. And then his second step was, well, I'm going to send someone that can somehow live a life to where they can take on the punishment of everyone else that would deserve that punishment. And to where by this person's wounds, everyone else would experience healing. And so it's like, I think that's so cool that like his solution to our problem of sin was himself ultimately, but it wasn't just in being with us, it was also in dying for us, which is really, really cool. So I like it.
I like that. Because ultimately, I mean, even as our pastor said yesterday, it's kind of funny, it's lined up at the same time. But like Jesus' purpose was to come here to die for us.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, that's ultimately what it was. And, like, obviously we'll get into it, like, later in different videos, but if you want to see how crazy this connects, go read the back half of any of the Gospels, which is Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and read the story of how Jesus was crucified, and then come back and read Isaiah 53. You could even read, like, verses 1 through 10, not just 3 and 7, and you'll see how everything lines up so perfectly. And then even people who aren't like biblical scholars fully agree that Isaiah was written way, 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 way before.
Well, there's evidence of it. I think
Yes.
the Dead Sea
The Dead Sea
Scrolls or
Scrolls.
whatever.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying, though, that's the evidence. But I'm saying even non-believers agree that that is true in the sense that it was written way before.
Okay.
And so there's not an argument against this in the sense of like, oh, well, no, Isaiah just wrote this after Jesus, bro. Like, Isaiah had been dead for forever. Like,
bro was back to dust.
this was way before Jesus was born, definitely way before he was crucified, and definitely way before he was even thought of.
Yeah.
But somehow it connects perfectly. Maybe it's just because there's a God that's real, you know? Just a slight chance.
Yeah, that's it, bro. So if you want to give your life, I'm just kidding. Anyways, yes, I think the goal of this video is to show you guys that there's things in the Old Testament that point to Jesus. And our prayer and hope is that this shows that to some extent that Jesus is going to be pointed at and you know, in this. I think we did that in Isaiah 7, you know, the virgin will conceive, have a son named Emmanuel, right? This is, again, 700 years prior to Jesus.
Yeah.
Obviously, Emmanuel is God with us. And then ultimately in Isaiah 53, 3-7, it talks about the punishment and pain that Jesus is going to have to go through. Obviously, 700 years before, we don't know Jesus is a thing yet. So I do think it shows and points to the birth of Jesus. Obviously, this is the need because we cannot do it on our own. As a matter of fact, it only took us three chapters and 3 verses to get this in out of 66 books.
And like what I would say too is what me and Zach are trying to do is we're trying to give you a little bit of proof to show pointing to Jesus in the sense that like for you to be able to believe and understand who he is. Like that's why we're pulling something from 700 years before he was born that talks about that. Obviously, you could just read the New Testament and see what God's solution was for our sin. It was those two things. Yeah. But it's a lot deeper when you pull it from something that was 700 years before his solution ever came to start breathing. Like, that's a lot different. And so, the ultimate thing, though, if we're not trying to, like, prove anything to you, and you don't need the proof of Isaiah or all that stuff, the real proof, I would say, if you understand or believe the Bible, that we need Jesus is the first thing we talked about. That's sin. The fact that we're cooked. We can't really figure out how to do this thing on our own. And if you have tried to do it on your own at any point in your life, you'll really understand you can't. So if you don't need like the cool theological proof or whatever, and you don't need to read these Isaiah verses and be like, wow, look how it connects. Man, I believe now. If you already are in that stage where you believe and you understand it, the biggest proof is the fact that sin is real and we are broken. And there's only one way to fix that. Yeah. And that's with someone living the life and paying the payment that we couldn't pay. And that was why God had to send Jesus. So.
Yeah, I like it. Well, I believe that's all I have for this one.
Yeah, that's all I got, too. Really cool stuff. Even if you do already believe in the Bible, go check it out. Especially the Isaiah 53 one is very cool, like how every verse in there directly connects to his crucifixion.
Yeah, and I would also like to say, like, these aren't the only 2 things that point to Jesus in the Bible.
Yeah, it was just ones that we thought were, like, important, and we wouldn't have to, like, give you some crazy deep dive on it to make you pay attention. Like, it was things that are very direct.
No, don't pay attention, pay us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Pay. I don't know who attention is. Don't pay him. Pay us. But, yeah, it was ones that directly connect and obviously very directly point to Jesus, but also are very simple and easy to understand what they're talking about.
For sure.
So, yeah, go check them out. They're very cool. And every single part of Isaiah 53 right there at the start connects to, like, all the steps and parts of the crucifixion. So, really dope.
Awesome. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Our prayer is that you continue to follow along in this next little few episode series. I think there's going to be a lot of good information. It's going to be a little different than what we usually do. It's going to be super, maybe a little more in-depth, maybe talking more into things. Not sure fully. But hopefully it'll be a good time. I think it will be. I think it'll be a lot of growth out of it. Yeah. So
we'll be hopping into prophecies like that, which would be fun. That'll be the first time we've ever done that. Well, today. But, we'll be hopping into prophecies. We'll be looking at stuff more broad.
All right, Isaiah, slow down. We don't need to speak it 3 days in advance now.
Sorry. We'll be talking about stuff more broadly. you know?
play it, bro.
So,
Anyways.
it'll be fun.
Yeah, guys. Well, we hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for your time. We love you. Jesus loves you. Yeah. So, peace.
Peace out, Rainbow Trout.